Yo, 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 it's Misha Dex and
Your boy Keymon. I'm so
tell them why
glad
I
you
got my
wasn't.
hood on my head. No, no, I told you, you played me.
Oh man.
Why am I recording with my hood on my head, Kimon?
Well, I just complimented your hairstyle. Said it looked like
Was
a
it a
19.
compliment?
Yeah, it's 1940 press. See it.
See, it's hard for a black woman in these streets. Like, I'm just, I try to record without thinking too much into it. I don't put on makeup or nothing. I
But
just
you
come.
know, no, I appreciate it because I have
I'm
yet to take
just,
off my hat, and so that looks good. I didn't say it would look bad. It just you just take me back to your elementary, like with Vaseline all over your face, like
I had a
cartoons.
facial today. I had a microblation, by the way. So you
Uh,
just see,
that's
you
why
be coming for me.
you are glowing. You
Yeah,
go,
because I take
girl.
care. Shut up. It's called self-care. I had a very, honestly, I don't even know if I wanted to talk about just how good my weekend has been, but you
Well,
kind
well,
of like
well,
killing it.
well, no. Well, no, because my question that I was going to ask you,
Mhm.
what was so soothing this week for you?
First of all, you said week. Week was horrible. I
Or
had a
okay,
really,
well,
no, but it's okay. It's okay. Let me tell you.
okay.
Because in order for you to
You
understand
want
and respect the
mayonnaise?
good,
Yeah, I don't like mayonnaise. Yeah, but I'll take some mayonnaise. Like, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
so the week sucked, right? Really bad. And I didn't know how I was gonna come up out of that funk. And
Hmm.
then my sister got me tickets to go see Toby, right? And the home is where the hood is tour. And it was such a dope experience. I even got a new friend, a girl, not a guy, because I know you ready to spin the block on some stuff. But she was
I
really
spin a block
dope.
on that too.
Like, here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, it was a dope experience. Two strangers really looking out for each other, had a really good time. And then Saturday, my brother brought his son and my great nephew over. And so I don't know, I didn't know what to expect from this, but my nephew, I'll just say this. He decided to share something with me that he over time throughout the day kind of dropped little hints. So at first I thought like, damn, did I traumatize this kid when he grew up, when he was younger? I mean, because he made mention like he when he was talking about his 4-year-old son, he was like, yeah, you got to walk with Auntie Misha and hold her hand like I used to. Or you got to go do this like I had to. So finally, we were walking into Old Navy, and I made a joke about thumping my great nephew, right? I said, boy, if you don't get over here. And then he was like, yeah, I had to hold her hand when walking across the street too. So I was like, I said, Robert, did I was that traumatic to you? Like, was I like, did I whoop you or something? And he was like, no, you never whooped me. I said, I just talked to you crazy, huh? He was like, no, you always was just kind. He was like, you was always patient. Like, and then over time, like just having conversation with him over a meal, he started revealing stuff that I didn't know he felt about me. And when it all was said and done, he was just like, I just want my son to experience you the way I did. And I just wasn't expecting that from him. Like he's 22 now. I think he stopped hanging out with me like by himself at like 12. So we're talking about
Okay.
10 years of like
Yeah.
not coming over by himself and spending the night and having auntie and nephew time. He's my oldest nephew.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that maybe he just grew out of like being with his
Mm.
corny auntie. That's like, and to know that he's 22 and he opened up at brunch in a way that I never saw coming.
Mm.
He started off by saying, I would love to go back to that restaurant that you had picked for the family when we did our family photo. And remember you took me to my first hockey game and I'm just sitting there going, and again, we did it as a
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
I didn't know he knew that I was the planner.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
even said, "How did you know to make a pre-made menu for the family? Like, how did you know what everybody would eat? Like, how do you do that?"
Yeah.
And then, like, the last point that really got me, he was just like, "I just knew when my dad said we was going to do something because you planned it, he was like,
Hmm.
I just knew we was gonna have a dope time."
Yeah. Yeah. That's shit. But also, in ways, it's almost like he's gaining knowledge or little tips so he can create that legacy for his family and obviously his son. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's dope. And it's crazy how I think just like our our weeks align with each other in terms of just the experience because I definitely had dope conversations,
with the girls.
well, with the girls and
Okay.
with, um, just folks who rock with us, who's been rocking with us, and it's just been super dope. But what's crazy is that you mentioned the girls, and I actually they've been with me all week because it's spring break.
Hmm.
But what's funny is that I remember I forgot about this conversation I had with the oldest about boys in the car, and I asked her, I said, so what are you liking somebody? What's going on? And it kind of threw her off guard. And and I was just telling her, like, obviously I know it's it's coming. I don't know when.
Yeah.
Um, but like like what is it? Like, do you like somebody? She's like, well, I like this guy, and but and I'm like, well, what is it about him? And she was sharing these things or what she liked about him, but she's like, I don't know, and she was like, I know I have to wait, or it's gonna be my time eventually. Mommy said 16. I'm like, yeah, that's about a good age,
Hmm.
but I ended the conversation as I know this is awkward for you right now, but I want this to become our norm.
Hmm.
And
So
so,
giving her that invite.
exactly, exactly, because I don't want her to feel like she has to sneak around. Like I'm always be the dad that who's this? What you want? type of vibe. But I think it was just big for me um, to open up that door
Yeah.
for her to know that it's available for when she's ready to walk through it. And it was growing for me because like I was receptive like to what she
I
had to
love that
say.
for her. I love that for her
Yeah.
because I'm not even gonna tell you how, child, the way me and Reginald had our conversation on whether or not I was dating or liking boys, child, it was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
he threw me off. But I think it's important. Okay, so let me tell you what I originally got with my conversation with my nephew. When I asked him, was I traumatic for him? It made me
Mhm.
just wonder, like, because we talk about the things that we've experienced, right? Like,
Yeah.
we had a conversation offline about smoking cigars and what
Right.
that looks like for you and what's connected to it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I always wonder too, like, am I anybody's traumatic experience?
Mm,
Because if I can have a conversation now, I want to fix that,
mm,
right? I feel like the biggest part of growth is also accepting that you've probably hurt people too.
mm.
And whether or not it was malicious or like how we always say our parents aren't, they didn't have it, right? We always give
Yeah.
them that grace.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but what about do we return that same grace to ourselves? Like me, I was an aunt at a very young age, right? I was
Yeah.
13 when I was originally a first auntie. And so that changes you, right? Because that
Yeah.
gives you a title that you don't really thrive in. And so it's not until like the more recent years that I realized that the impact I have on my nieces and nephews,
Mm,
like even, I had the boys
yeah.
last week and they didn't even want to leave when it was time for them to go Wednesday, which
Yeah.
it warmed my heart, but I felt sad. I was like, because I didn't want him to go either. We went on
Yeah,
a hike. We
yeah,
we did all kind of dope stuff. But the point I want to make is that I also want to make sure where I can take accountability because there's some things
mm,
that are not in my control. And I've had a conversation with one of my nieces about that. Like, you realize that your dad had more siblings. And
yeah,
that's the other thing that I had to let go of was like, I can't save everybody. And I can only give what I have access to.
yeah.
But
And,
I want to make
and
sure I'm not hurting any of my babies.
and you know, and it's one of them things where, you know, we will never be perfect. And we're not
Right.
jumping on this platform saying we're perfect. We're saying that we have came to a point in our lives where we are trying to look past the trauma,
Yeah.
um, move forward with this intention, with this space, and being intentional with creating a space that allows people to step into it and be vulnerable, um, share their thoughts, be creative, and feel a sense of acceptance and love, right? And so, going back to the other conversation I had was, we had the visitors, and I'm sure he's gonna know who I'm talking about. But the flowers he gave us was that like we are we're able to articulate our thoughts, and we overshare to the point where you know that it grabs him, it grabs his attention. And one of the challenging moments in that conversation, I wouldn't say challenge. Let me not challenge it. One of the amazing moments is I see the curiosity in him in terms of seeking a piece of healing that he needs,
Hmm.
but he hasn't made that step forward yet. And part of it was, like, oh, I don't want to unveil like some trauma in the past.
Right.
And my question to him was like, but what if it propels you in a direction that you never knew was even open for you?
Right.
And it was super dope though having that conversation because well, I think he's about a year older than me, but I still look up to him in the way of, bro, you've been married 17 years
Mm. Yeah,
at
that's
this age,
stability. Hmm.
and not that it's perfect, but the
Hmm.
fact that you have created this foundation that no matter what obstacles, whatever happens, water is still able to flow through it.
Yeah.
And that's the love piece.
I want to go back to the part about one, the flowers of like, I'm happy that he's able to witness, right, what growth looks like. And I wonder if this platform wasn't created, if that had been a conversation out loud, maybe a conversation
Mm,
in his head, maybe a conversation with the spouse, maybe. But to
mm,
have that conversation external from what you internally feel, one,
mm,
that's a big step. So that I just want to give a shout out to
yeah,
you for that. And then the second part of it is not being ready, but healing looks different for everybody,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But even
And
acknowledging that you want it, but you don't know how to seek it, or if you're not ready to seek it because you're not sure what will come from it. One thing I would say is if I had the magic wand, I would let everybody see what it looks
mm,
like to be them healed.
mm,
So if you love who you are now, just imagine who you would be if you're healed. You wouldn't second guess things. You
mm,
would, I feel like people would give more freely knowing that they gave from the heart, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
not look at it like, oh, well, what am I going to get back from it? Are you
mm,
really going to do what you said you was going
yeah,
to do?
yeah,
Case in point, I was talking to my nephew about finances, and he's currently not working. And I was showing him the different places of revenue for me,
mm,
right? And that's a big deal. Let you know I'm
mm,
invested in
mm,
wanting to know what you want to do about your
yeah,
finances. So I said, let me show you a few things. I want to show you different platforms of where I have money and what happens with this, right? And I showed him my one of my credit unions, and I was like, "This is strictly for savings. Like, I do
mm,
not have a card activated to it.
mm,
It's just money that goes into it, and I want to show you the buildup of how it you get more money on the dollar the more money you put into the savings." So I
yeah,
showed him like the smallest amount that the bank would give me every month
mm,
to like where I'm at now, and I said, "So how about this? I'm going to send you some money. And you put it. I want you to put it in the." And he has the same credit union as me. I
okay,
said, "I want you to put this money in that credit union in your savings, and I want you to see what I just showed you for yourself."
okay,
And he just looked at me, and I said, "So right now it says you're a -5. So I'm
mm,
going to send you that five.
mm,
I'm going to send you what I said I'm going to send you plus the $5 so that
mm,
it won't take away that five." And I said, "In a year from now, I want you to show me that account."
mm,
But guess what I told him? "And if you end up spending the money, that's fine.
mm,
My intention was to give it to you to
yeah,
show you how to do it yourself."
mm,
And it's one thing to have an auntie that's just a gift to gab, and it's another thing to be an auntie to give you that tangible lesson. So in a year from now, I'm gonna see what he did with the little bit
yeah,
of money I gave him to put in that
yeah,
account. And he said, "Auntie, no, I will." I said, "No, I don't want you to feel like you have to defend it.
mm,
I'm just telling you, I'm gonna trust you."
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So with that being said, that comes from a healed place.
yeah, yeah,
That comes from a very healed place to be like, because I'll be honest with you, I don't have that relationships with my aunts and uncles. Like,
mm,
you know what I'm saying? And I think that's another reason why I go so hard in the paint when it comes to
yeah,
my
yeah,
nieces and nephews and godkids.
yeah. No, that's amazing because I mean, when we take it back to our aunts and uncles, when we talk about financial literacy, it wasn't there. Like you might have an uncle or aunt that was balling, that was able to
But that's
kind of
what it
move the way
was.
they
They was the
want.
one that was balling.
Yeah, exactly. But it still wasn't financial literacy,
Yeah, like
because they spent.
I disclosed a lot because I wanted to show him, like, and I was
Can
like,
you send me some money?
shut up, shut up. I was, I don't even have it like that. All my money is stock and stuff. But that's what I was trying to show him.
Send me your
Like,
password.
it's Keymon. No, but I just wanted to show him like don't get caught up in the hype, of seeing things. Like don't get me wrong, I have nice things and he sees that, but I also wanted to show him the balance of how to keep it.
Mm,
And I'm still learning along the way, but I was telling him, I was like, dude, at 22, if I knew better, I my 401k would be through the freaking sky right
yeah,
now. And so I told
yeah.
him, I said, I was like, oh, I want all my money at
And,
20.
and, but also understanding like because you mentioned 401k and I am just getting on board with it as well because in the same breath of if I knew what I knew at 22, but then situations take you from what you like. I know even
Hmm.
now, but shit, situations take you from it, right?
Yeah.
In terms of some things, some months might not look as strong, or new investment with
I know
trying
you
to
don't want to hear my
like
answer to that. Trust the process.
yes, trust the process, and also understanding though, like there's grace within that.
Yeah, it is. And
There's grace within that.
I've been on multiple sides of this. Like we've
Yeah,
both had some, downfalls and then there's moments where I'd be like, "Oh, I need to go cash that out." And then I
yeah,
couldn't. But the biggest thing I did, again, outside of doing stock, and I just start splitting my check up.
Mm,
So the thing is this, if I can survive, and I'm gonna just hypothetically speaking, say I was making $20 an hour, right?
mm,
And then all of a sudden I get this raise and I'm making like 28, $30, right, an hour.
mm,
I survived off that 20.
mm,
So now I'm about to take what's left of that and I'm about to put that up. I'm not even, see,
yeah.
the thing about me is I do not take the increase and use it in my daily life. I
Mm,
take that increase and I invest it because I've learned how to survive off that bare minimum.
mm.
Don't get me wrong, I'll go splurge a little here and there, but like my paycheck is it goes into four different accounts.
You know my birthday, right?
Motherfucker.
It always comes back to me. It's always,
Sometimes I
oh,
wish you was born first so I could be like, you my big brother, but I can't even
oh
say
man.
that.
Nah,
No, I'm
I
just
hear you
saying
though,
when you've
but that's
gone through
also
a
a good way to
struggle,
look at because as you're saying that, I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Um,
it's just a balance. And I was trying to show him, I just wanted to show him in real time, like there's ways to do this and look good while
mm,
struggling.
mm.
And
And it don't have to come from showboating. It can be a goddamn Macy's 14.99 collared shirt and
listen, you know,
get the
baby is
freshes
a
out
bargain
here.
shopper.
So yeah, no,
So no,
no, I was just gonna say the height piece, and I think that's key in understanding and knowing that what people post, what you see, that's the end results of the process.
say that again. Dude, like for real, like there is that in between that we don't talk, like that dash in that damn poem. You, the year you was born, the year you die, and then this dash that seems so minute, but it holds the key to
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
you've ever been through. And again, I know what it's like to not have. And so my brother Nick will tell you, Misha funny, she goofy, but don't get to talking about survival
mm,
because I'm gonna have a whole breakdown. And it's interesting because I don't even think that I'm like that like brilliant when it comes to saving and stuff like that.
mm,
I just knew what I had to do so
yeah,
that I never had
mm,
to be like, you think you can spot me? You
yeah,
know, being in
mm,
personal debt has always been something that was hard for me. I
mm,
do not like to be in personal debt.
mm, yeah, yeah.
That's
No,
just,
it's gut wrenching for sure, for sure. I hear you. I
but the
hear you.
thing is, I don't mind sharing. Like I
Yeah,
don't, you get what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
that's the part that's different. Like I got a call today. I'm gonna share this because I think it's dope for me to share the turnaround because I won't sit here and just say I'm a giver. I receive dope gifts, really dope gifts. So today I got a call, a text, and the text was, I need to ask something of you. And I'm like, okay, ask,
Mm,
what you gonna ask? And this particular friend was like, can you meet me in Portland? I'm gonna take care of everything. I just want you to attend this concert with me and do the meet and greet because I know May is not your month, because May is
mm,
Mother's Day. The May is
mm,
the month my mom passed away.
mm,
And I just was like I wanted to cry because I was like,
mm,
that is so thoughtful. But then
mm,
it also makes me wonder, wow, I wonder what I give people to because
mm.
you don't just get that.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's big energy. That's big energy.
And it
Big
makes
energy.
me want to do that
Yeah,
back. But I
yeah.
feel like I just don't recognize that I already
Mm,
do. But it's
mm,
just,
yeah,
again,
yeah,
operating out of healed spaces.
yeah, yeah. That's dope. That's dope. When in May? I can get
Mind your
my
business. Stay, please. Your baby gonna need you.
Oh man.
Actually, I
'Cause
leave a lot in May. I thought it was interesting that this May is filled. Like I got a lot of gigs in May.
mm,
I got travels in May. May is gonna be a dope month for me, but which is crazy because I don't really talk about it. People just know what it is for me.
yeah, yeah,
Like
for
May is
sure.
my struggle month,
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
year it was already like I booked two gigs before the new year even started for
Yeah.
May, and I was like, what?
But that's a dope feeling though when you get a message like that from friends and that you don't even speak about. And I also know that you are very thoughtful in that way as well.
I appreciate that.
Because like even wishing somebody a happy birthday, like
Mhm.
taking and someone that you probably don't even talk to all the time or whatever the case may be, but it moves wonders and it makes people feel again safe in that space. And you probably ain't never been in arm's reach of them.
Yeah.
But again, no, that's just the vibe we on. That's just the vibe
But
we
I
do.
think it's important that people know that they're seen. People, you hear that saying all the time. People just want to know that they're loved. People just want to know that they're seen. And for me, I don't know what it is. I love loving on people.
Mm,
I just got to make sure I give that love to the right people, but also understand that people aren't used to it. So, for example, me, again, I had a great weekend. I was getting flowers left and right. So, I met this young lady at the concert Friday night, and she texted me this morning. She texted me my name with exclamation marks, right?
mm,
She was like, "My God, girl, I got to give you your flowers." And I meant to send this earlier. And the exchange was, I've been praying to meet people like you.
mm, mm,
And then she went further in to say, so you locked in. We sister cousins. Like, I'm gonna be
mm.
bothering you. We locked
That's dope.
in.
That's dope to hear.
But what I told her was something that I had to learn, that people, the way people viewed me was, I said, thank you for seeing my personality and my person for who I am and not a weirdo. Because
Mm,
it's a lot of hurt people out here that can't receive genuine,
yeah, yeah,
like, I don't know
yeah,
you, but can you text me when you make it to your car? That's what
yeah,
I told her that night.
yeah,
I said, because she
yeah,
didn't park in the parking lot. And
yeah,
she was by herself. She went to the concert by herself. And I said, hey, when you get in your car, text me.
yeah.
And she did. So again, just knowing that there's people in the world seeking you in whatever form, not, you can just say, oh Lord, just send the right people my way. And some
Mm,
people can be looking for a mate. Some people just need safety.
yeah, yeah.
And the last part of her text was, I promise to be your safe space.
Mm,
Completely
yeah.
new person. And I was like,
Y-
wow.
y- and this is gonna sound crazy though, but I would love to have her be a guest on here, and and
And I'm sure she would do
and
it.
and I want to do it because I want to understand, or I want her to share that thought process between what made her connect that connection, what was what was great for her. Like you get what I'm saying? Like I feel like that would be super dope. And that's also only knowing her for like a week or whatever
Not
if
even
she's
that.
able to, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
No,
just saying the
I
next
think
time we
it's
record,
important. I think I will send her a message tonight or tomorrow.
yeah,
I never even told her about the podcast, right?
yeah,
So, because again, it was just one of those, just showing up. There was no
mm,
ploy, there was no scheme of like, oh, I just need a guest. But no, I
yeah,
think I tell people all the time, like, I don't know what God mixed in my DNA, but it attracts people. And
mm,
I still be trying to understand
yeah.
like
It ain't your
what's
job to
happening.
understand. Just keep doing what you're doing.
No, I
Just
definitely
keep
will
pushing.
share that. But even just thinking about going back to like being healed,
Uh,
like, just imagine the way you operate in healed spaces, that I was able to receive that and not be like, ugh, she's just trying to set me up.
I used to think that back in the day when I used to meet girls in the bar, but then I was like, man, you fresh, you fine, of course. But anywho, um, quick,
That's what I back. It always come back to Keymon. Okay,
always come.
Keymon, you cute. Okay, God, Lee.
Hey, but no, what I was gonna say though. So I believe it was episode 4 or 5 when we talked about like our vision for YB negative.
Mm.
So from then it was definitely before week 8 or whatever, just thinking about the episodes we had. Has anything changed from that point, let's say week 5 to now in terms of vision, how you feeling about it? Like what is that process like for you? Or what is that
So
thought?
I want to tell you what stuck to my head was when you talked about taking YB negative on the road
Mm,
um, to implement in school settings. But I want to go further. I want to go into spaces where people are healing,
mm,
like AA or Drug Anonymous, or maybe incarceration, people like trying to be reacclimated to this, to assist out of the system. Or I feel like YB negative has more wings than we probably thought
mm,
about,
mm.
because healing is universal.
Yeah,
Like there's healing through words, there's healing through dance. I feel like if there was an opportunity to grow, and again, we always talk about like this is not our money tree, right? This
yeah,
is just
yeah.
really an opportunity to use a space that can create more healing than anything else.
Mm,
So for what changed for me is taking this to a step further, more than just merchandise, more than just a podcast, like really the lifestyle. I want to see us expand more in content so that people can see. Like, I mean, I'm not going to have a camera in a stranger face and be like,
yeah,
tell them
yeah,
how we
yeah,
met this.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But really, like really being out and about and showing people our growth and our progress, that's where I'm at. I really
Mm,
want to show the lifestyle of Why Me Negative and how it's impacting us. And not just giving testimonies, but like visually showing like
mm,
this is what has come from this.
yeah,
What about for
yeah.
you?
Ooh, I think you pretty much said it all. I think in my head, like obviously agreeing with everything that you said, but it's time. It's our time. Like and this is the way that we are going to show up and do our part in the world. It's through this. I mean, obviously we have those who are attached to us, who have our phone number, whatever the case may be,
Hmm.
that we speak to on a daily. And it was funny because I asked my boy, I asked him, I said, hey, how does a conversation turn into you coaching or mentoring or just that? Like, because at one point I didn't understand it. But as I navigate through these world, interact with people, folks, it's just about curiosity, asking the right questions or asking questions
Right.
to get an understanding. So I feel like for me, it's almost like how do we touch the next person?
It's interesting because while you were saying that, it made me think of something that came up with my nephew. Um, I don't want to put words or speculation, but I think he stopped talking to me because he probably thought I had a higher expectation of him of some sort, if that makes
Mm,
sense.
mm,
Because again, when you don't know someone is looking up to you so
mhm.
high,
Yeah.
but he said something. He said, Auntie, I realize what I want to do. I just don't know how to do it. I mean, I don't know how to
Mm,
get there.
mm,
And I said, You have just cracked the code
yeah.
for so
Yeah.
many grown people. A lot of people won't even start because they don't want to admit that they don't know how to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, and I wrote out a blueprint for him, and his mind was just blown.
Yeah.
It starts within your own reference points.
Yeah.
Like having that conversation with my nephew, I didn't even know how valuable I was. You know how
Yeah.
you don't know what you have to offer until somebody gives you the space to
Mm,
offer it.
yeah. Yeah.
And so we came up with a game plan for him just by him saying, This is what I want to do. I
Do
just
yeah.
don't know how to get there.
Mm,
So you ask, where does it start? I mean, it starts within the spaces because again, if we're building the people within our reach already,
Yeah,
it becomes a ripple effect. So it starts here. It started when our connection started all them years ago, right? And witnessing how we both have grown and how we both have had trials and tribulations and
yeah,
still became resilient. But it is also important for us to like, just like we're seeking our healing, it's also time for us to seek the healing that we could provide back.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Like even the fact that you and the girl's mom have had these, like you guys had one space and then now look at y'all now.
Mm,
That's that's something that need to be talked about. Like
yeah,
I never
yeah,
wanted to force that conversation, but I think that is something that's so magical, especially within our Black community.
yeah, yeah.
So
So with that being said, why
why be
be
negative?
negative? Why you try to stand out?
I wasn't. I was trying to watch your lips, but you know you got a lazy bottom lips.
That's a good one.
You
That's
need
a
to
good
have lip day in the
one.
gym.
Okay.